Here.
Peachy?
Here.
Miller? Here. Randall?
Here.
Lars?
Here.
Kelly? Here. Kraus?
Here.
Horn?
Here.
Thank you. At this time, we'll entertain public participation. Anyone wishing to address the council may please do so. We ask that you please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Phil Risto, 727 Oakwood. I put a handout out there so we can move through quick because as I was advised, the weather's bad and you guys want to get out of here. So in any event, the Utility Commission has determined that we'll join the city in using one engineer for joint projects. And in that regard, it's important to look at the purchasing manual policy that you guys are working on tonight. You're looking to approve in Resolution 112. What it says in there, part of the reason for a purchasing manual, if you look at page 3 of the handout, is to provide vigilant stewardship for taxpayer funds, inspire public confidence, ensure vendor community has access to open and fair competition for contracts. And so when you come to competition, it's important to note that the city hasn't been following the current policy that says for engineering contracts, it's on page 12, over $25,000, they shall be subject to a request for proposal. And the city really hasn't been doing that. I think in 2016, there was the Watertown Road project, the Sanborn Street project. I think that was about a $100,000 contract. Now we got Greenwood coming up, looks like about $58,000 joint here, and no RFP. And so with regard to the competition part of that, page 2, there's some numbers. In 2018, the utilities went out with a request for proposal to do just the water main, 1,600 feet on 4 different streets. Got some bids. Low one was Baxter and Woodman. Second low one, Applied Technologies. Third, Town and Country, $30,000 when we got the job for 17.3, 77% higher for Town and Country. Your 2019 Resolution 101 for Greenwood Street, again no RFP, 1,300 feet. The water main part of that, the design specs and bidding is 14.4, and the construction admin's 11.8, so a total of 26.2 for just that part of it. If you look at Baxter and Woodman, again, 17.3 for 1,600 feet. This 26.2 is for 1,300 feet. At a per foot, Town and Country is 86% more again. And you know, if you look at the MSA program that you guys signed up with to improve the golf course area out there with Jimmy Keene, the design specs and bidding part of that is $28,300, 1,100 feet of road, which includes sanitary sewer, storm sewer, sidewalk, and the big part, 3,400 feet of water main. Okay, if you allocate all 28,000 of the charge to the city for that piece of it, that's $8 and some cents a foot. Town and Country's $11 a foot, and that's only if you put it all on a water main. The rest of the road you're getting there is for free engineering-wise. That's how high those prices are, or in the alternative, how low MSA's prices are. So if you're looking at the policy you're going to do tonight, a couple changes that you could do. Consider expanding the employee conflict of interest thing. I think it's on page 6. Or add a new section prohibiting any officer or employee from soliciting or accepting anything of value from a city vendor or an expected bidder or proposer. That doesn't appear anywhere in there, and it should be on the documents when people submit their stuff saying they haven't done that. And then when you get to page 12, rather than take the language, I mean, the answer to not following the policy and getting proposals in the past and spending excess money on these sorts of services isn't change it so you don't have to do it. It's go do them. And so there the proposal is strike shall and make it may. Well, there wouldn't be any standard to say, well, when would you do it? When wouldn't you do it? Who would know? What I think the normal thing in the world is to do proposals for this, and the page 4 that I've given you there shows what it's from the state purchasing manual, just like page 3 was. And the arrow there, a sole source waiver. Okay, when you go to one vendor, in order to do that for the state of Wisconsin, it takes the governor's approval to do that. It's so out of the ordinary to do that without an RFP. And it's a unique or proprietary service that only one person can provide. DOT has 34 pages of engineers certified to do roads. You know, there's grant monies, a public emergency exists. That's the only time when you go one place, one time, get one price and say, oh yeah, that's good enough. You don't do that in your own house. Why would you do it with the city's money? Let's protect the taxpayers, the ratepayers, do some RFPs and make it a shall, not a may. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Seeing no one, want to adjourn to a public hearing on the proposed resolution where the city is considering modifying its fare schedule. I'll call this public hearing to order. Could you please read the public notice of public hearing?
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Jefferson receives funds from the Federal Transit Administration, Section 5311 Rural Public Transit Assistance Program, and the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, Section 8520 Transit Assistant Program to assist in funding the Shared Taxi Ride Program. The city is considering modifying its fare schedule to become effective in 2019, and so there's a required public hearing. The public hearing for this proposed fare schedule increase was advertised in the Daily Union. The public hearing is to be held in the City Council meeting chambers at 7 p.m. on the evening of February 5th at Jefferson City Hall, 317 South Main Street, Jefferson, Wisconsin. In lieu of attending, persons were invited to submit written comments to my attention, in which case I did not receive any, but if we did, we would read them into the record.
Thank you. And could you please provide the explanation of the...
I will. Well, the gentleman next to me I'm going to introduce is David Lowe, who works for Brown Cab Service. Dave's worked with our programs for a number of years. I think you're an old DOT employee in a past work life, but has been with Brown Cab for a number of years. And generally, we talked about this, I think 2 meetings or so ago. You know, the funding from the state and the federal sources is going to decrease a little bit in 2019. In addition, our ridership, which has been really, really high, is down a little bit. I think we're on track. I didn't see the final 2018 numbers, but I think close to 18,000 rides per year. And it's been a while since we adjusted our rates. So what is proposed tonight is to leave our base fare of $3 alone unchanged. Our fare for elderly and disabled riders unchanged at $2 per ride. And to tinker around the edges, the proposal is to increase the agency fare. That is a rate that Brown Cab may contract with a public agency like Care Wisconsin to transport their residents to medical appointments or whatever the case may be, to $7. And then to increase, if there's a ride beyond our service rate area, from $1.75 per mile to $2.25 per mile. And then the last one that really is proposed is to increase the cost of a package delivery. We have about 50. I think we'll talk a little bit about that after the public hearing. Primarily grocery delivery to shut-ins. The proposal is to increase that from $4 to $7. And then lastly, there's a waiting time fee increase for up to 40 cents per minute of wait. You know, that's the proposal that is noticed for public hearing tonight.
Thank you. At this time, we'll hear any persons wishing to be heard. Please come to the podium, state your name and address and reason for appearing. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Move on to resolution number 109, the consent agenda. Alderman Tully, please.
Thank you, Mayor. City of Jefferson, resolution number 109. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the consent agenda for February 5th, 2019 is hereby adopted. A, we had vouchers payable for December 2018 in the amount of $154,824.94. And vouchers payable for January 2019 in the amount of $581,833.56. Payroll summary for January 18, 2019 in the amount of $155,953.89. B, we had council minutes from the January 15th, 2019 and the January 29th, 2019 of the Common Council. C, we had licenses as approved by the Regulatory Committee. Operators licenses, we had none. Special Class B licenses, we had Council for the Performing Arts having their annual Valentine's Party premiere night at 100 North Main Street, the Perna Room. I would so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Lars. Any discussion? Additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Alderman Peachy.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Lars.
Aye.
Tully.
Aye.
Kraus.
Aye.
Horn.
Aye.
Alderman Beyer.
Aye. I'll abstain from the special Class B license.
Thank you. Resolution number 110, a resolution to authorize the shared taxi ride program fare increases and changes to the hours of operation. Alderman Lars, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, fellow council members, citizens of Jefferson, City of Jefferson, Resolution Number 110, authorizing the shared taxi ride program fare increase and changes to the hours of operation. Whereas the City of Jefferson recently submitted its 2019 state and federal operating assistance application for the shared taxi ride program to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. And whereas the City of Jefferson application includes several minor fees increase that are required to offset program operating cost increases, and whereas it has also been recommended that the city modify its hours of operation. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that it hereby adopts the following adjustments to the Jefferson Share Taxi Ride Program's fee schedule and hours of operation. Regular base fare is $3, elderly disabled fare $2, adult student fare $3, agency fare $7, beyond service area would be $2.25, additional passengers $2, package delivery $7, extra bags $1.50, waiting time fees 40 cents per minute, stop in route $2, nutritional site $1.25. Hours of operation be Monday through Thursday from 6:30 a.m. to 7 p.m., Friday 6:30 a.m. to 2:30 a.m., Saturday from 7 a.m. to 2:30 a.m., Sunday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Holidays include Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas from 7:30 a.m. to noon. New Year's Eve open until 3 a.m. Be it further resolved by the Common Council that the shared taxi ride program fee adjustment and hours of operation are to be implemented upon adoption of this resolution. I so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Brandel. In discussion?
David, go ahead.
Okay, the couple things that we're working on to get the ridership back up and hopefully not cost the city any money at all for this program. We're going to do some advertising and over the radio, try to get informational brochures at more locations around the city, and use if we have any idle time with the cabs, put them in a very conspicuous place so people can see that the cabs are there, so that we use them. The other thing that you may wish to consider is implementing the change in package delivery from $4 to $7 over a 3-year period, going to $5 this year, $6 next year, and $7 in 2021. That would avoid any hardship for people who are getting their groceries delivered by the cab. The deliveries are handled differently because they're not eligible for state and federal subsidies. So the cost of that delivery has to be borne by the user or the city at 100% of the cost rather than the 55% that you get with state aid. But there's only about 51 or 52 deliveries last year, so it's not a big item in the grand scheme of things as far as revenue goes. It's a couple $100.
Okay, I have a question. Is this 50 cents per minute waiting time, is that also going to be charged to the elderly and disabled fare?
What we do is we give everybody 3 minutes after we get there to get out before we start with waiting time. We have very few people that are not ready when we get there. Those that do, we have a couple of bad actors where we're sitting there for 10 or 15 minutes not doing anything. So it is charged to the elderly, but they're not the problem. Does that make sense? It's like they're not the ones that we're having the issues with sitting, that are not ready for the ride.
Well, I work at Premier Bank, and I do see the disabled, and sometimes it does take them longer. So I'm just thinking that it might be a hardship.
That's after that waiting time is charged basically after we receive a call and we say, okay, we're at your house. We let them know we're there, and they don't come out, and they don't come out, and they don't come out. It's not for how long somebody takes at an appointment or stopping at the bank. We're not charging those. It's people who don't come out after we tell them that they're ready and we're waiting for them. Not that they're not done with their business yet, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Dale, just a quick comment. We had the public hearing notice in the paper. I did have one phone call from an elderly lady, lives in the community, and she raised the concern over the proposed increase for package delivery. She said she's a shut-in. She gets her groceries delivered. She's probably one of the big users.
She's probably 25 of the 50.
Out of the 50 on a fixed income, I'm sure maybe there's some others out there. And so we're not talking about a lot of money, even though the cost of that cab ride really is borne by the city after there's a fare box calculation. It may be, we're not talking about tons of money, but maybe the proposed increase from $4 to $7, maybe that is a phase in, $1 a year over 3 years.
I would make that recommendation to phase it in for $5.19, $6 in 2017, and $7 in 2021. That's my recommendation to
Would you like
amend.
to offer that as an amendment?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second to the amendment?
Second that.
That's seconded.
And discussion on the amendment?
Phasing in?
I think that's fair.
Actually, I don't know that there isn't service clubs that do this and would be willing to do this anyway. I mean, I don't think that amount of money isn't very much for that service. And I think one of the reasons you don't get many calls for it is because others do it. Service clubs and others. So maybe that poor lady, maybe she could give her a contact of a service club. Somebody said service clubs will always help out with things like that.
Any other questions or comments on the amendment? Hearing none, we'll vote on the amendment that Jim offered and Ron seconded. All in favor of phasing it in over the next 3 years?
Correct.
Signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Alderman Miller,
Aye.
Randall,
Aye.
Lars,
Aye.
Tully,
Aye.
Kraus,
Aye.
Horn,
Aye.
Fire,
Aye.
Peachy.
Aye.
Thank you. The resolution is offered as amended. Now, are there any other questions or comments?
I do offer an amendment to cancel the 40 cents waiting fee to the elderly and disabled, because there are times when it just isn't fair. I don't think, and I understand that there are times that you do have bad actors, but I do think that there are times when that 40 cents, I mean, there are people that is a hardship. So I would say that 40 cents doesn't need to be charged to the elderly or disabled. So I'd make a motion for the elderly and disabled, not to charge that 40 cents.
Okay, there's been an amendment offered not to charge the 40 cents wait time fee to elderly and disabled. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. On discussion?
Mr. Lowe, is there a way to differentiate between the elderly and disabled? I don't think it's going to be a concern, like you said.
It's a very minor issue, and we do, because we do charge, have the different fare structures. So most people that are qualified for the elderly disabled rate, we know they're regular customers anyway, so it would not be a difficulty for us to
Do you feel this would,
discriminate in that regard. Does that answer your question?
well, I understand what alderperson Byer is trying to do. You know, it may take them longer to get from point A at their house out to the curb, and I don't believe the taxi company is charging for that.
We're not charging for that.
Right.
We're charging for people who basically are no-show for 5-10 minutes after we get there, not somebody who moves slow and is on their way. We're charging for somebody who just doesn't come out at all.
So in other words, the call comes to a bar and the guy knows that your taxi's out there, but he's decided to order another beer.
He decides to have one more, yeah, before he leaves.
I'm thinking about the people that we call for at the bank, and you come, and you might get there sooner than they, because they're disabled, can't get out there, and that 40 cents.
If they're on their way out, we're fine with
But
it.
sometimes because of it does take them longer.
Yeah, it takes them long, but as long as they're making an effort to get there, we don't charge.
So I just think it would be,
Okay, I mean, we're talking, this only gets, last year it amounted to about $20 in revenue, and it was on about 8 to 10 cases a year where we actually charged it, where somebody was 20 minutes late coming out.
but some of these, it's a very minimal money that they have in
Yes,
their account. It makes a big difference to them.
Very minimal money. It's not going to amount to,
So out of last year, like how many elderly and disabled were actually charged? 0?
I don't have a breakdown of what the 8 people who were charged were.
Okay.
Okay, that I don't have, so I don't know. But there were 8 instances where we charged the waiting time. In the course of 18,000 rides, it's pretty much a drop in the bucket, no matter how you look
You
at
guys
it.
use your discretion, I imagine.
Yeah.
Sir, disabilities can cover a wide range of issues. How would you determine if this was implemented, what constitutes an elderly person? I'm over 55, am I elderly?
City definition is 60. Okay, for fares. Disability, we let people self-declare for disability. And it's not been an issue. We've not found a lot of people who claim to be disabled that are going out and running marathons or anything of that nature. So it's not been a problem. If there's a question as to disability, we accept Social Security disability or other disability findings from an agency if there's any issue with it. But again, we haven't had anybody who is either from another customer or a driver or a member of the public saying, why are they getting that reduced fare? We haven't had that at all.
But if I was 60 and I just didn't feel like coming out, you wouldn't, under this scenario, you wouldn't have the ability to charge for wait time,
No, we would not be able to charge you for wait time at 60.
whether it was intentional or not.
Yeah. But again, it's a very rare, like I said, I believe there were 8 instances last year. And the total we billed was right around $20 total for wait time for the entire year. And we're talking about a $200,000 a year program, so it's relatively insignificant.
there any other questions or comments to the amendment? If not, we will vote on the amendment to delete the wait time fee of 40 cents per minute for anyone who is disabled or 60 or older. All in favor signify by saying aye. As Sarah calls your name, no if you're opposed.
Alderman Brandel?
No,
Lars?
Aye.
Tully?
Aye.
Kraus?
Aye.
Horn?
No.
Fire?
Aye.
Peachy?
No.
Miller?
No. Well, we knew there was going to be a first.
it had to happen.
I just don't see this being a problem at the present time. You've told us that you're not charging people that are elderly for the wait time. You said the people that are charged for the wait time are, by and large, not the elderly or the disabled. So is this a solution in search of a problem? I vote no. It's defeated 5-4. The original resolution is presented. Are there any other amendments offered? Hearing none, all in favor of resolution number 110 as presented, please signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Alderman Lars?
Aye.
Tully?
Aye.
Kraus?
Aye.
Horn?
Aye.
Fire?
Aye.
Peachy?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Brandel?
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution number 111, resolution authorizing a federal, thank you for coming tonight. And we appreciate the investment in advertising. I know you have run some radio spots in the past, and for whatever reason, Jefferson wasn't included on those. I know you had Fort and Watertown and Whitewater, so.
We were going to places where we were losing ridership.
Oh, okay.
We were slipping a little bit here, so now we'll put Jefferson on the rotation.
Well, I'm sure it'll help reinforce to people that there is a shared ride taxi program in Jefferson.
It's good, and if there's anything we can do is make sure that to help publicize it, it's also going on the city website. It's
Yes.
on the city
Yep.
website now with connection, so that should also help spread the knowledge and spread the word, and hopefully we will be back here next year with better things.
Sure, and
Thank you all for your time.
thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Drive safe. Good to see you.
I'm gonna strike it.
Yeah, I table it. It should have been on.
We table it or strike? All right, we're gonna strike number 6, resolution number 111 tonight. That needs to be presented to regulatory committee. Move on to number 7, an update on tax incremental district number 9. Administrator Freitag, please.
I'm going to do this really quickly. This is going to get in front of you at the February 19th council meeting. There'll be a resolution to put in place the city's 9th tax increment district. That matter has been considered by the redevelopment authority. 2 weeks ago, they met, held the required public hearing. As I recall, I think the members approved it unanimously. The members of the Joint Review Board also met ahead of that public hearing. Bill Meinel actually was appointed the citizen member to the Joint Review Board. They are scheduled to consider the district about a week after the City Council considers on the 19th. That's the district that is up around the North Interchange. That's the gas station, hotel, maybe another development site, as well as the first phase extension of the city's North Industrial Park.
Thank you, Tim. Any questions of Tim? To number 9? Nope. Okay, thank you. Move on to resolution number 112, a resolution authorizing the updated City of Jefferson purchasing policy and City of Jefferson investment policy changes. Alderman Horn, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, council members, citizens of Jefferson. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the updated City of Jefferson purchasing policy and City of Jefferson investment policy are changes as follows. Purchasing policy. 1, central stores policy. Remove. It is no longer prudent for the city to maintain a central store supply. Number 2, encumbrance financial record keeping. The wording changes here are to clarify the existing text. Number 3, employee conflict of interest. This change has been requested by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation grant staff. Number 4, purchasing procedure. The changes requested at this time are only to clarify existing text. Number 5, credit card policy. Section of this policies have been added to further protect the city's financial exposure and to clarify the expectation for payment, submittal, and overall use of the card. Number 6, employee purchases. This section is being clarified due to abuses by departments over the last couple of years. Number 7, federal awards. A section of the policy is being added to comply with the WISDOT regulations. Investment policy. Changes to the policy are to allow the city administrator to delegate financial investment duties to other staff members. And the diversification section of the policy suggested we clarify this section by adding a sentence to include certificates of deposit and the corresponding FDIC insurance. I so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Brandel. In discussion. Any questions or comments?
Mayor, this was reviewed by Finance, and it was unanimous.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of resolution number 112 as presented, please signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No.
Alderman Kraus. Aye. Horn.
Aye.
Byer.
Aye.
Peachy.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Brandon.
Aye.
Lars.
Aye.
Tully.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Resolution number 113, a resolution that the city administrator is hereby authorized to delete the 2017 outstanding personal property bills from the accounts receivable. Alderman Kraus, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, fellow council members, and citizens. Resolution number 113, be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson that the city administrator is hereby authorized to delete the following personal property bills from the accounts receivable. For the year of 2017, American Well Design in the amount of $90.94, Agilent Ventilation in the amount of $212.20, Conopco Incorporated in the amount of $7, Hillside Jefferson LLC in the amount of $370.77, Life Force Fitness in the amount of $200.54, and Tienda El Miagrito in the amount of $349.78 for a total of $1,231.23. Let it be noted that the following resolution to write off personal property bills in no way impedes the collection process or dissuades the persistence of the city attorney in his collection efforts. This is just a matter of clearing up our books for 2017. I would so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Tully. In discussion.
So we do this every year, and Attorney Rogers will still pursue it, or do we turn it over to a collection agency, or do we?
No, I work them,
Okay.
and we had a good year last year. Hopefully we'll be as successful this year. I think this is so we get reimbursed by the other. Yeah, the big benefit is, once we do this, the other overlapping taxing jurisdictions have a portion of this. The city can recover their portion back, but this is a step we need to do first.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of resolution number 113, please signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Alderman Horn.
Aye.
Byer.
Aye.
Peachy.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Brandel.
Aye.
Lars.
Aye.
Tully.
Aye.
Kraus.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Resolution number 114, a resolution authorizing non-represented employee salary increases for lieutenants and crossing guards for 2019. Alderwoman Byer, please.
Honorable Mayor, council members, and citizens, City of Jefferson Resolution Number 114, authorizing non-representative employee salary increases 2019. Whereas during the 2019 budget approval process, the Finance Committee reviewed and recommended to the full City Council salary increases for the police lieutenants to $70,000 annually. Also, during the 2019 budget approval process, the Finance Committee reviewed and recommended a wage increase for the school safety crossing guards to $11 per hour. And whereas the aforementioned wage and salary increases were included in the FY 2019 budget approved by the Common Council, but were inadvertently omitted from the wage and salary resolution subsequently adopted by the Common Council for the non-representative city employee resolution number 82, and now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the herein approves and sets the 2019 salary for the police department lieutenant position at $70,000 annually, and the hourly wage rate, the school safety crossing guard position at $11 per hour. Said salary and wage adjustments are to become effective January 1st, 2019. I would so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Horn. Any discussion?
I understand this is just an oversight on the original resolution number 82 and clean it up.
House cleaning. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Fire,
Aye.
Peachy,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Lars.
Aye.
Tully. Kraus. Horn.
Aye.
It's unanimous. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Peachy, second by Mr. Tully. On a voice vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We are adjourned.
I'm gonna go start building.
Drive carefully.